Hey everybody, hope everyone's doing well, had a good week, having a good holiday season. Shane back with you again, here to discuss our Smart Recovery workbook. Um, this week we're on chapter 6. Um, the title of this chapter is Living a Balanced Life. So this chapter is just like a lot of the chapters before, culminates the chapters preceding it into using them in this one. And this one actually, we're going to use it all. With this one, you'll be referring a lot back to your cost-benefit analysis, to your hierarchy of values, things like that. I apologize ahead of time if you hear any weird noises. This cat's going a little crazy right now and getting into the boxes and stuff in the room, but my apologies ahead of time. So with that being said, I want to go ahead and give you guys your password at the beginning this week. Last week I forgot, so before I forget, if Melissa or anybody asked you, the password is going to be faith this week. So with that being said, guys, we'll go ahead and start getting into some of this. It's a lot of exercises and tools like the past 3 weeks have been, but they should be very useful, and work through it at your own pace because you'll be referring back a lot. But it's important to put a lot of thought into this one because, man, this is laying out plans for everything and planning for the future of your entire life, not just your program for your addiction. So the first line, I marked it out because I wanted to read it. It sets the tone like a lot of these do. Regaining your health and creating a lifestyle that brings you long and short-term satisfaction is an important part of recovery. So, I mean, what could be truer than that? I mean, that's what we're doing here, right? Is we're trying to lay down an actual plan that we can refer to in any time of doubt or any time of wavering, to kind of keep us on track. And balancing those things out and balancing out our values and our obligations and setting those values and obligations and goals is kind of what we're going to be doing mostly in this chapter, or giving ourselves a vague idea of where we want to be headed. It says also, it talks about there being two main actions that lead to a balanced life, and the first one is understanding and respect each of the areas of our life, and the second is change your perspective in the areas in which you are stuck. So kind of like what we've been talking about, changing our perspectives. We're going to be putting all those changed perspectives excuse me, down as it pertains to how our highest to lowest values and goals in life from here on out, from the start of our recovery to hopefully we're dead. Not to be morbid, but I pray that everyone watching this and everyone who's had addiction problems stays sober till they die. The exercise of creating balance, it talks about some pretty common sense things. You see them all there. The taking inventory, being honest with yourself, gut checking what you know, what the real meaning behind some of these values you hold are. It talks about referring back to your cost benefit analysis, or maybe that's not here. I'm sorry. I think I'm thinking of a page ahead. My apologies. But you see this whole list. I had a big circle around get support. Because when we're this far along to where we're thinking about and making plans for the future and setting what we want, setting and putting a number on what is highest value to lowest value from here on out, we really need to have people around us that have the same self-interests and people that feel where we're coming from, because we can also be accountable to them. good environment, good vibes, man. Very important, very important. I know that if it wasn't for the pillars of the personal foundation of my recovery, the people around me that I put in place, I probably would have not made it past the first 6 months. So, that's, and don't follow my exact example. I by no means imperfect, but usually fellowship and brotherhood and sisterhood help us a lot through times like this, and it's the love and companionship is the meaning of life whenever you get down to it, man. Once you get family and friends and people you care about, there's no better feeling. So that's a big point in this, plus, have fun. It's the more fun we make it, the better, the easier it'll be, right? The next paragraph goes into your lifestyle balance pie. And this is where you're really going to be referring back to your hierarchy of values, to your cost-benefit analysis, the people in your hierarchy of values, if you have any things like that, and working in outward is the highest number, what you regard them as. Inward is the lower number. And you feel that out as you see fit. You've got a pretty good example right there. Just refer to the page before, be real honest with yourself, and you can always change it. And the next few pages will show you that whenever you became an addict, you usually gave up a lot very important interests and activities, people, hobbies that you were probably very passionate about, and we just let them go to the wayside under the guise of our addiction and the lifestyle that we lived in, our addictive behavior. It talks about this tool called Vital Absorbing Creative Interests. So basically, it's talking about bringing back up or finding new interests and hobbies and activities, things, or, maybe something as outside the box, maybe like a new 12-step group, something. Things like this, surfing, which I say that because I used to surf, but yeah, that's one thing I gave up. Surfing, a lot of music, family, these things that I gave up maybe in my recovery after I'm to a certain point, revitalizing those old interests can help me hold on to my recovery, give me things to do, give meaning to my life again. I know that at a certain point, when you get to a certain place in your addiction, there's a part of you, there's a point where you're pretty much the person you were was completely washed away, right? Because these type of substances change who you are fundamentally as a person. And I can remember myself getting clean, and after coming out a slight fog, feeling like I was 15 years younger, because basically the person that I was inside that I identified with was the person that I hadn't been for many years, because my addiction had cost me, and caused me to change. So you go through some of those things, and again, be very honest with yourself, and be pragmatic, and actually think of things you haven't thought of yet that you might be interested in. I know that personally, I was like, God, I got so bad into cleaning. My grandma used to joke before she died, God rest her, that they needed to get me a holster with a little belt that had a belt with a little holster that could hold my carpet cleaner and carpet cleaning brush. So, but yeah, pretty much anything that you hold dear or could hold dear, or find of interest, or can change a certain thought pattern that you are having problems with, you can put it down here. And the VACI before and after list pertains to the ones that we gave up in our addiction. We could put these things down and say before addiction it meant this to us from number from 1 to 10, and then after our addiction it meant this to us. Then we can put our own comments down. Like, personally I would say that music was a big part of my life. I never, went more than a day without picking up a guitar or drumstick. And, after it meant basically nothing, and that it cost me every drop of talent I had up to the point, right? I mean, that's just an example. But, yeah. Get those things down there. Put down your comments. Even, put down your bad thoughts, how you're angry with yourself even. Get it out there on this paper. I know I felt a lot of anger to myself. It's important to forgive ourselves. Forgiveness is a big part of this thing, but if we don't get the emotions out there, we can't do anything about them, right? So let's get them out there. And, getting into setting goals, I mean, you deal with all these things. We've already got this plethora of tools and weapons to use against our addictive behaviors, just simply from this book, let alone all the other life experiences you've gained in your recovery or multiple recoveries or whatever. Using these things to set goals is very important. Looking at the values, goals, and planning exercise, we can really use a lot of that to come here and then look at viable steps to approach making these things tangible, or putting them in order and making your life work, balancing it all out. Because if we don't achieve any kind of balance, then nothing stays the same for too long. And with emotional and psychological traumas we faced in the past, the roller coaster does not serve us well. We need to streamline a little bit. So after you get done looking at your vital, absorbing, creative interests, it moves to where to start. Like, where should we start addressing these things? Obviously, it starts off with some of the big things we deal with when we're first in recovery. We got to deal with our finances, friends and family, career, physical health, fun and leisure, artistic activities, right? Education, volunteer, social activities. And these, again, these are just places you can start. Some of those are very obvious, right? But some are suggestions, but we can all relate, and we all have things that can fit into these categories. Honestly, all of them. Even social activities, even volunteering. I mean, heck, you watch family members' kids, you're pretty much volunteering, right? I hope my family doesn't see that. Because it's a joy to watch them, guys, if you're watching. But yeah, starting off at this base playing field, we know where we need to start really addressing things. Like, these are pretty fundamental things to making sure you've got a balanced life. Just those first 4 are paramount, right? Finances, friends and family, career, and physical health. You could make those 4 pillars of which to build something on, and they're really the most important. Maybe you don't have a lot of family. Maybe it's just friends. Hey, my papa used to always tell me, you can choose your friends, but you can't choose your family, right? So as long as we make the right choices, and with some good people, they can take a significant role in the balanced life we want moving forward, right? So addressing all those, looking at them, diligently, going through it, taking a moral inventory, as well as looking at what's best for your well-being in the future. We look more to setting realistic goals in the next section. And it gives another acronym using SMART for goals should be specific, measurable, agreeable, realistic, time-bound. And it gives variable examples of what, you know, those, they want you to define that as being, you know, like the go to bed at 10 p.m. versus get more sleep. You know, a lot of times answering things vaguely it gives us some wiggle room. Especially early in recovery, we don't want to give ourselves wiggle room with anything. Just using that small thing, we want to have things set in place to preoccupy us and that are healthy activities for us. And the further we get, the easier it gets. And in the meantime, though, this, if we can refer to this, and it can guide us quite a bit. The goal setting, this gets extremely detailed, right? So you can go into your life category. You go, basically, look towards your hierarchy of values, or refer back to the graph that we just did, and pick one of those categories, pick a subject or any issue relating to one of those, and then, like it says here, improve cardio. I forgot it said that. And it shows you, it's specific, what's measurable, what's agreeable, what's realistic, and what's time-bound. And you could just do that over and over again, right? I mean, you could go down a rabbit hole with that if you wanted to. You could take everything apart and analyze it and put it back, and analyze it and put it back. And it's a good idea to do that, man, whenever you're first in recovery. Just make sure that all these goals, all these things are healthy for you mentally and not too taxing. And keep it realistic, man. Keep it so it's tangible. You can grab it. Just like we can grab these things and use them in this book, let's keep our goals to a site where we know they're attainable and are, at least in the beginning, you want to work towards aggressively and possibly attain it soon. We don't want instant gratification. Now, I think it even says that somewhere in here. We're so used to instant gratification that we become accustomed to it, just with our addictive behavior. But we do want it to where reaching a few goals helps with the motivation, helps with everything else, right? Now, this one, when you're talking about living with your emotions, your awareness techniques, relaxation, and progressive muscle relaxation, which that progressive muscle relaxation, I'll table that till after we get to these first three. Just like we learned about with triggers and urges, man, our emotions, just like that roller coaster I was talking about. I mean, streamlining those, it's a lot easier said than done. Some of us might have co-occurring disorders where we might be bipolar, we might be substance abuse, have substance abuse problems, or something along those lines. Whatever you need to do to get your emotions in check, there's people you can talk to that will help you with that. It's sad but true that a large amount of people who have drug abuse issues have one or two things in common. They've either been sexually abused as a child, or they have a mental health disorder. And I forgot what the number was. I read it a while ago, like 80% have either or. And it's sad. But it's also workable. And I say that because I'm bipolar, and with God's grace and all the help in the world from Orca, I'm 7 years clean now. So Thank God, thank Orca, thank everybody that I've met along the way for that, because without a whole lot of people and God, it would not be possible. But learn to live with these emotions is paramount, right? All these things directly affect our emotions. So setting these goals, putting these activities in place, putting these barriers between us and our addictive behavior, it doesn't work if it conflicts with your emotional well-being. So, and that's what, this whole chapter about having a balanced life, it helps you with those little things. It even it talks to you about referring back to point 3, managing thoughts and feelings and emotions. Learning to level out your emotions is helpful in managing behavior and also can be part of living a balanced life. Yeah, I know it seems like I'm just reading the first line that pops out, but that's very true. These awareness techniques, being aware of emotions leading to addictive behaviors, being aware of where you're at emotionally. These awareness techniques, they do work. I've found recently, and make sure I'm not skipping ahead to here, and this will go along with your visualization and your meditation. I found recently racing thoughts I've had problems with before bed. And I found recently a tool called ASMR. I don't know if any of you have heard of it, but there's all kinds of ASMR. I would recommend like GB ASMR or China Unique ASMR or Batala ASMR or Frivolous Fox ASMR, Ting Ting ASMR, Charms ASMR, Karuna Satori. There is a lot of them out there that are basically there just to give you something relaxing to watch or hear. And ASMR stands for Automated Sensory, Automated Sensory Meridian Response. So some people might feel a tingling. I know it sounds weird, but you got to read about it, and you've got to watch it and experience it. But I found lately that looking at some of these non-sexualized ASMR videos helps tremendously with going to sleep, also with anxiety or just needing a minute. It talks about, places in between, in the book where, and that's why I want you to stay busy. Well, things like this, meditation, and it works right in with meditation and visualization. It also works with the progressive muscle relaxation. It talks about progressive muscle relaxation in here as an exercise, a physical exercise, laying down pretty much, doing a full body analysis of your muscles and this and that, flexing and flexion and extension pretty much, and it helping you relax. There's actually ASMR that helps you. It's pretty much a relaxing body. I forgot what the video was called. I just watched recently. I'm sorry. It was by a guy. It was an ASMR body analysis video, I think, where you just listened to the ASMR, relaxed, meditated while you listened, and did a inventory on how your body felt. Yeah, I know some of this sounds real out there. I might be the massage therapist in me that is bringing all this up, but I know it works real well for relaxation and having a moment to yourself. And all these things, the meditation, the awareness techniques, these are going to help you quite a bit. I mean, we always need to be aware, especially early. The further along we get, the more easy it is to identify behaviors or the start of a behavior, but in the beginning we need a lot of help. So if you don't have an idea for yourself, always refer to the book. And if you need any other help, you could contact myself, contact the office. I'm sure anybody would be willing to help you along with any of this stuff, really, anything. Like I've said before, I'll say it again, Orca's the best resource I've ever found, and it's a great resource to use in your recovery if you're truly committed. So, but it gives you a descriptive list to go down if you are going to do these PMR exercises by yourself, which is, it's good. You know, not all of us know triceps and biceps and latissimus dorsis and turnomasticular joints and things like that. So, which that's not in here either. That's me nerding out again, but you get the idea. So, after we get to those mental things, we move to our health, right? And that's a big, big deal. It talks about all the basic things: sleep, medication, exercise, you know, things we need to be doing to keeping our bodies up and keeping them healthy. A lot of times we come out of a serious drug addiction, our body's heavily taxed. I'm sure everyone who's been told to watch this video knows what I'm talking about. Some of us have some serious health problems, man. I can speak from experience that even in recovery, not dealing with these medical problems puts a big strain on all of these things we're talking about. And it's another one of them things that can make that, where you go from streamlined to riding the roller coaster. It's never good. So, guys, keep up with your health. You know, if you, there's all, I don't have insurance personally, so I know that there's programs out there that can help you at least get your foot in the door and keep up with it. You know, very important. It's I don't know about you, but I'm no spring chicken anymore. So keep up with that health, and it'll be good to you. Your recovery will be good to you. I'm sorry. But anyways, guys, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to go on so long. I was going to try to cut it to 20 minutes because it was mostly graphs and stuff. But all these other chapters culminate pretty good with this one. You're going to be using a lot of it. Think about what you value in your life. You think about it, and later on in your recovery, refer back to this book and you think about those things. Get it to where they mean so much to you that you can't think about living without them. And then think about yourself without them. And remember, that's exactly what that relapse is going to do to you. You know, it's a rough time, you know, Christmas. I've said that for the past 3 weeks, but it's important right now. This time of year, especially for people who haven't been clean very long, to keep their mental stuff in check. Whatever you got to do to stay busy, there is hope, man. The fact that you're watching this video and dealing with my boring butt shows that there's hope for you. And you're clean. One day clean is one day with that foot out of the grave. You know, one relapse, guys, is all it takes to end up in the grave. That's it. And I've seen that more and more lately, even among some close people to me. So, before I get grim, I want to wish you guys a Merry Christmas. I'm going to put one more up, I think, before Christmas. But if those of you who watch this one decide to bail on the next one, I want to wish you a Merry Christmas ahead of time. If, like I say all the time, if there's anything you need or just need someone to text to, you know, tell the girls what I always tell you up at the front office, okay? And they'll get a hold of me for you. So, but until next time, I hope everybody stays safe, stay clean, stay sober, work the programs, let it work you, and have a good night.